Hello. Welcome to this episode of Walter's Rear Window. Maya and I will be reviewing MaXXXine, and we will be talking about our experiences and how we felt about the movie in general. Maya and I, we went to Cinema 21 to see Ty West's finale towards his X series, MaXXXine. And how did you think, Maya? You got off work and then you had to drag your ass all the way in the hot sun, by the way.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So we are, this is funny. This is like a little Walter's Rear Window lore. We started recording 2 episodes at once. So we just recorded our brunch episode. We were following up with MaXXXine. We did both of those things within the span of 3 days. So it remained extremely hot. And I worked all day on Monday, and then I drove home and walked to Cinema 21 because I'm not very smart in
you
situations
also have Wyatt
like
with
that.
you.
So we walked to Cinema 21, and I really like Cinema 21. Like, Claire and I have talked about Cinema 21 before because we go there. We went to see the Barbie movie there.
Yeah.
And so like we like going to see movies. We like going to think about theaters and all that stuff. So Cinema 21's been high on our list for a while. And when I got there, I was like, oh, I was wondering if it was going to be busy or not. It wasn't bad. Like, it was pretty quiet for a Monday. The tickets from Cinema 21 are like $11, which is just like awesome. Like, you have to love an independent theater that like does that. And then on top of that, their concessions aren't ridiculously
priced.
priced.
Was like, they have really good popcorn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they also serve like drinks and stuff like that, which are also not like very expensive. Like, you won't be expecting to pay like $10 for like a glass of or.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I think Cinema 21 does it exactly right. I really like their vibe. We were actually joking because they had a bunch of ad space before the movie, and I was joking like we should do a Walter's Rear Window ad. That'd be so fun. Because I mean, Walter's Rear Window loves and supports Cinema 21. So, anyways, we got to Cinema 21 and it wasn't bad. We got concessions. And then we went and sat down. We got pretty good seats. Like, it's a seat yourself kind of situation, so you have to get there early. But like, it wasn't packed. We sat like right smack in the middle. And for context, Claire, which of the series, which movies from the series X have you seen?
I only saw X. That's the other one. I did not see Pearl.
Okay, so you have now seen MaXXXine and X. Okay, I have seen X, Pearl, and MaXXXine now, and I think I was talking to Wyatt about this because like he's funny. Like after a movie, he likes to like just sit and think about it. Like he won't like talk about it until like 45 minutes later. Like he needs to like marinate. And I'm so the opposite. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to talk about everything that just happened in that movie. Like I really liked this movie. Before we went and saw it, I was reading some pretty like negative reviews about it. And like a lot of them were kind of like, it's just too flashy. There's nothing really there. All of that like kind of vibe, you know? And it like a little bit made me laugh when I was reading the review before I had seen the movie, because I was like, well, that's kind of the series. Like, that's kind of what you're showing up for. Like, to say that X and Pearl had like true substance, I don't know that is like the case. But were they a ton of fun to watch? And is Mia Goth like a total badass in all of them? Yes. Like, so yes, like I think as long as you kind of have a sense for the series, you know what you're walking into, it's fine. Like, it's going to be what you think it's going to be. But like, if you haven't seen, I was listening to some of the people who were sitting behind us talk, and they had zero context for the series. And I was like, I have no idea like what this is going to be for you. Also, because there are a lot of references to the other movies in this movie. So yeah, like, I don't know. What was your experience watching it?
Yeah, I mean, like, this is not like a cinema masterpiece. No,
this is not like cinema.
Or,
you know?
like a horror masterpiece, I feel like.
No.
It is like a little corny.
Totally.
But in the way that you're expecting it to be. Because they're not trying to like pretend that it's not.
Totally.
You know?
Yes, exactly. They lean into it.
And it's very camp, like very, very camp.
Yes, I think like definitely like if you love camp, you love 80s horror and like the look of the practical effects in 80s horror. Because I'm not going to say that these were practical effects. I have no idea. But they looked practical, which is not to say that they look realistic. Which was, and there are a lot of really fun jaw-dropping moments in it. Like, I really like Mia Goth. I think she's kind of hysterical. Like, I think in Pearl she was amazing. I will always just walk around screaming I'm a star, if gone unprompted. And so like it was nice to see like a kind of like an end to the trilogy. But when I was talking to Wyatt, him and I have seen all three. He complained that he felt that because of Maxine, Pearl doesn't really matter, which I was like, I kind of think that that's fair because Maxine and X really tie into each other, whereas like Pearl is almost a spin-off. Like, I don't know that I would call Pearl a part of the X series. Like, it's more of like a prequel than...
Well, Pearl was the old woman in X.
Yeah, but like but Pearl had nothing to do with Maxine, right? There was like that one callback moment to Pearl, but like it didn't culminate into anything, if that makes sense. Like,
I mean, in a way, Pearl wanted to be a star, but she failed. But Maxine wanted to be a star, and she succeeded. So they're kind of like interchangeable.
See, I'm like totally with you because like that was my argument to him as well. Like, I was like, no, I actually think it does work. Like, I think it works. But like, I see what you're saying. Like, I like oscillate back and forth because like I'm like, no, it's true. Like, this is like a story about like Maxine, right? But at the same time, like Pearl was such an important part of X that I think like by the time we got to Maxine, I was like, I just don't understand how it's a full trilogy. It's more just like we did a movie about a character that we thought was kind of interesting in concept, and then we tried to tie it all together with this third movie. So, like, I think it was a bit of a stretch, and there are a lot of moments in this movie that are a bit of a stretch. Like, I have, like, so much love for this, because I love 80s. I love Mia Goth's hair in this movie. Like, I am heating my crimper up as we speak. But I love the look. I love the clothing, all of that stuff. She's wearing Princess Reeboks throughout the entire movie. Which aside from her like badass boots, but her Princess Reeboks for when she's like running and stuff like that. I'm like, it brings me joy because I bought my first pair of Princess Reeboks when I was a sophomore in college. I wore them everywhere. So when I saw them in the shot, I was like, oh my God, yes. Like, I love their Princess Reeboks. She's running in her princesses. I think that they're like, one of the things that I brought up yesterday that we were talking about briefly was the PI.
Oh yeah.
And like, so like we're about to get into like extreme spoilers territory, so like if you don't want to know, you haven't seen the movie.
So to give a short summary of this film, and basically Maxine, she became like a super famous porn star, and but she's now trying to break away from being an adult actress and turn into like a real actress, and she got an audition to be in a horror movie called The Puritans 2, so the sequel to The Puritans. And she actually got it. Like, she gave like an amazing performance, and she actually got the role. Now, alongside the filming of this film, there's also like protesters who are like, I don't know, like conservative America who think like they're like projecting satanic imagery with this film.
It's the classic 80s satanic panic.
Yeah, that. And side note, there's like this Night Stalker who's this serial killer that's been going around and killing a bunch of people. Now, this is going to be a really big spoiler, like a really big spoiler.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen it, stop listening now and then come back.
Yeah, come back in like maybe like 10 minutes or so. Spoiler, the Night Stalker is actually Maxine's church pastor dad who found her and is like very angry at the fact that his daughter is now doing porn and then is going to be in this movie and wants to like change that. So he went and killed like all of Maxine's friends and hired the PI to kind of like stalk her around and find out information about her. And then in the end, he kind of like not kidnapped, but he tied up Maxine and tried to like perform an exorcism to try and like get the devil out of her, essentially. But the police intervened, and then Maxine was able to break free, and then he ended up dying, and Maxine ended up shotting him. And she had like this like very iconic line, if you remember. What is it? before he shot him, she said to him,
"I will not accept a life I do not deserve."
yes.
Which, like, I love that line. Like, I was like, yes, this is great.
Yeah, and then she obviously became like a very famous actress to the movie being successful, yada, yada, yada.
Yes.
But that's like the basic plot of the film. What do you think?
In terms of going from X into Maxine, I picked up on, so X ends with the TV. I have to, you guys can check me on this because like I actually haven't seen X in a little while. And I did not have time to go back and rewatch the whole thing before this episode. But there is at least a scene towards the end of X where the camera pans to the TV and there's a preacher preaching like all this satanic, like evil, like be afraid, you shouldn't be doing XYZ, like you're not allowed to do anything kind of stuff. Just like very intense fire and brimstone stuff. And I didn't realize during that movie that was supposed to be Maxine's dad. And that is who comes into Maxine, which I like, because like when all of her friends were dying, like I was just like this just seems so targeted towards like Maxine specifically. Like this is so weird. So I was like, what the heck? And one of the first like people you meet to like indicate that this is what's going on is the PI that her dad had hired. You don't know at that point that her dad had hired the PI. And he's just this like kind of like seedy character who just like follows her around constantly and is like taunting her and like trying to get her to do all the stuff that her dad wants her to do and stuff like that. And I didn't really get the point of his character. Like, I guess it was because like there had to be something driving her to be like afraid of this person. And like, oh, before I get like deep into this, I will have to note that the Night Stalker was like a real thing that happened in California. Like a real serial killer. So like they're really playing off of this like LA Hollywood vibe. And they are just like pretending it was Maxine's dad, which is funny. But yeah, like I didn't really understand the point of her dad's PI because like he didn't really serve a purpose for me, He
was supposed to be kind of like the messenger, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't really do that.
That's kind of what it was like. I was like, I almost feel like there should have been a better way to do that. And then like, so the first like the first outrageous thing that happens in this movie is in the alley in Hollywood. But the second outrageous thing that happens in this movie is when she finally gets the PI, because the PI keeps like following her around and she gets like really fed up with it because why wouldn't you? I mean, you have a dude stalking you constantly, telling you someone's looking for you and gonna ruin you. So she tells her agent, and her agent sets this whole thing up where they basically kidnap the PI and handcuff him to his car while they like straight up compress his car. So it's like this very slow, long scene where you know exactly what's gonna happen. Like, I don't know about you, but from the second I saw the handcuffs, I was like, oh my God, she's gonna compress his car. I was like, oh my God, she's gonna compress him in the car.
Yeah. Okay. That scene followed up by like one of the more disturbing scenes in the film, which is the handler. He had these two Doberman dogs.
Oh God.
And he after like compresses his car and like blood dripped out of the compressed car, he let go of like the leashes and the dogs ran over and started licking like the blood
remains, if you will. Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
I was so disgusted.
I know. It was a moment where I was like, I'm so glad that this is like as campy as it is, because it looks like alphabet soup on the floor. But like, I was like, if we had gone more realistic, I would have been like horrified. So it's like they're interesting because they're walking this line between like actually doing stuff that's pretty horrendous and like horrific, and then like padding it a little bit by making it not look so realistic on purpose, or like doing just to make it a little bit more palatable, because it's just like that scene was so intense. I think the entire theater was like, oh yeah, like it was just like audible.
Yeah, like Maya commented that the ending scene when Maxine blows up her dad's head, it looked like a watermelon exploding.
Yes, exactly. That I think is like the last. I think that's the best moment of the whole film. Like they then so like at the end when Maxine finally like conquers her dad or like like gets him to leave her alone. She has him like pinned on the ground. She's got like it's not a shotgun, but it looks like a short. I don't know anything about guns. Like a short shotgun, like a revolver. I don't know. No, it's definitely not a revolver. It's like it looks like the kind of gun that like cowboys would hold. But like so if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But so she has it aimed at his head, and she's gonna shoot him in the head. It's Maxine. They're gonna go there. But I was like thinking to myself, oh, they're not gonna like cut to the head. Like they're gonna do something gross with like the like whatever like pieces of the head they're gonna like throw at her face or something, No, they straight up cut to the head and it explodes. It's like a watermelon. It's awesome. It is like one of those like pure camp horror moments where you're just like, oh yes, this is excellent horror. In my opinion, that's where the movie should have ended. There's like 7 minutes after that, like worth of content that I just thought was so unnecessary. Because, like, I was like, I love seeing that she succeeded. That's great. I think we would have known that she succeeded. Or, like, maybe right after that scene, you just cut to her walking down the red carpet. Because, like, there are just so many moments where it's just like, Although, like, they were funny. Like, they were really clever. And the little cutaways they have, like, in the beginning of the movie, Maxine is doing cocaine. And she's going to be a stripper. And she's doing cocaine with like her bus pass and like a $1 bill. And then in like the very last scene, she's doing cocaine right before going on set.
With $100 bill.
With $100 bill and a SAG card, which is so funny. A SAG card is if you're a union actor, you're part of SAG. And so it's showing that she's moved up. She's a SAG actor now. Which is so funny because she's doing the exact same thing that she was doing before. But yes, like I thought it was a lot of fun. Like there were a lot of so funny like visual moments for me. Like Ty West, I have a very similar visual sense of humor to him because I was just like, oh my god, this is hysterical. This is like so funny. You have set up so many different things to just make this work, which I like love. I love that. I also think like I had a particular love for it because it was shot in Los Angeles. So like. And I grew up in Los Angeles, so like I have a lot of that like background. I moved to Portland from Los Angeles last year, and yeah, like it's funny seeing like all the spots because I was leaning to where I was like, that's that cemetery that we used to go watch movies at. Like that's so funny. And then he was talking about how they have all those scenes at the Hollywood sign, which makes me laugh because you can't go to the Hollywood, like that's not a thing. Yeah. So like it was making me laugh. There were like so many moments where I was like, oh my gosh, I know that building. And then there's this one egregious building that they just like added in, and it was almost like if you taped 4 paper towel rolls together and then they had like that exterior elevator going up the building. It was the ugliest building I've ever seen, and I was like, this is so far from anything you would ever see. And I was like, no, this is not it. I don't know, maybe it was a thing in the 80s. I'll have to Google it. But I thought it was a lot of fun. Like I really liked it. Like I didn't think it was like I don't stand behind this movie as like the best movie ever, good cinema, anything like even like anything like that. I'd say like it's good girl power fun. Mm-hmm. It's visual eye candy. Like it's really, really beautiful. Everything in it is very interesting. And if you love a good like punk girl narrative, this is like totally the movie for you. Go watch it.
Yeah, Mia Goth is a badass. That's Maxie.
She's so a badass. Like I love her freaking boots, like stomping up the stairs. I'm like, yes, I love that. It just makes me want to go out and buy one of those jackets. So yeah, like I thought it was totally like summer fun horror. Like I think that
oh yeah, definitely.
Like I think it fell perfectly into that genre where I'm like, yeah, like if I saw this on someone's shelf, like if someone got a DVD of this movie and I saw it on the shelf like 20 years from now, I'd be like, hey, let's throw that on. Like let's watch it. I totally want to see that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so like I think like, and it was also a really fun time, like so I think I just like associate good memories with it.
I would say that like as like a kind of like an overall ending, like this is definitely like a good film to watch with friends, I think.
Yes, totally. Yeah, don't watch it alone. Like there's too much like you kind of need the peanut gallery to be like that's half the fun was being in the movie and like having everyone gasp at the same time. Like because there are so many like moments where that absolutely call for a visceral moments that call for a reaction. And I think the patrons at Cinema 21 gave us that. Like we had a little sense of community. We're all laughing together, all having fun. It's totally like, you're right. Like, it's like a watch with friends movie. Like, don't watch it at home alone. It won't be fun.
No, yeah, it definitely won't be as fun.
It'll just be kind of upsetting.
Yeah, and also, like, I think it is definitely, like, a movie made more for cinema. Like, I can't imagine you watching this on, like, a screen and being like...
oh, on, like, a laptop. Yeah. Yeah, no, I completely agree. Like, I think because they made it so visually, like, gorgeous, like, go watch it on the big screen. Yeah. Like, and also it's Maxine. Like, that's, like, part of it. Like, you should go see it on the big screen. Yeah, I think... I don't know. Like, I'm going to give it a high rating of 4 out of 5. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, same.
We'll do it again. And that's that on Maxine. We hope you enjoyed our episode today. This is actually so funny. I'm recording this before we actually recorded the episode, so I hope we had some hot takes. I hope it was a wonderful listen. And if you go out and see it, please tell us what you thought. We'd love to hear your opinions. We want to engage with you. Reach out to us. And keep an eye out for our next episode. Bye!